Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start clocks here. And so we're going to start with the wall clock, which is the one on the bottom right. So I'm selected the elliptical marquee tool. Really does not matter which tool you use for making this selection, but I'm now going to put a selection around that clock. You can see I've got a little bit of it cut off. I'm still holding the left mouse button down, guys. And I'm going to press and hold the space bar and move that selection just a little bit so that the entire clock area is selected. Now we're going to use the magic wand tool as it says in the instructions. Don't forget to set it to subtract from selection. Contiguous is checked, and I will come up here and click OK. Press the letter V to select the move tool. I'm going to move that clock to right about here. Now I'm going to show transform controls. Leave it selected. Now, what I'm going to do, instead of trying to freehand this, I'm going to come over here and just go to a corner and left click on a corner. Now this option bar is available. I'm going to click on the maintain aspect ratio button. Then I'm just going to select one of these two. It doesn't matter which one, and type in 500. Now, that's not where I want it, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and just use the move tool that I'm still have selected, and I'll just move that so that it's completely on the white, but not over any of the other clocks. Done. I'm going to go ahead and click on the check mark to complete the transformation, and I will deselect Control D. Okay, so we have now resized and moved the wall clock. The next one we're going to do right here is the mantle clock, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and make use the regular lasso tool and just put a selection around the mantle clock there. Good. Okay. Then back to my magic wand tool. And I want to show you a couple of things that go wrong when we try to do the mantle clock. Okay. So got the magic wand tool selected. Okay. And everything looks good. I got subtract and I click. So far, so good. Control 0. And I go ahead to move my mantle clock tool by clicking on the move tool. And you can see what's happening there, all of that white area. So that's clearly not what we wanted, okay? So I'm going to go back to the lasso selection again. We're going to zoom back in and try a different tool, or try to use this tool differently. So coming over here. So contiguous checked didn't work. Let's try unchecking it and see what happens. Click. And you can see, if you can't see it, we've wiped out the clock's face. I'm just going to go ahead and move that so you guys can see what I'm talking. See how the clock's face is gone? Okay. So obviously that didn't work too well either. Now, something we can do is we can go ahead and select the magic wand tool, make sure contiguous is checked, click there, and then I'm going to zoom in some. Then carefully just click inside using the magic wand tool each of these areas like this. If you look at the book does show the shadows left, and this is certainly one way of doing it. And so now that I've done this, Control 0, I can now go ahead and select the move tool, and I can move the clock, and now all of the areas around those arms is fine. Okay, that worked. I do want to show you one other way, although to be honest, this is the way you're probably going to do it because it's easiest. Okay, and there's no reason to make things harder than they need to be. So I'm going to go ahead and select it again. Again, I'm going to show you one last way here. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in again. Good. That's good. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select the elliptical marquee tool and I'm going to select subtract from selection, just like we've used with the others. I'm going to go ahead and draw that oval. I can draw it over here if I want to. Press and hold the space bar. I need to make that resize that oval. There we go. Resize it a bit more. Now I've got that oval where I want it. Okay, good. Now, go back to the magic wand tool. Now I can uncheck contiguous, okay? So it's going to get rid of all of the white within the selection, but remember, this is no longer part of the selection. And so we selected around all of the arms and we still have the clock's face. Now here's the problem. If I go ahead and try to move this, I'm going to leave the clock's face behind because remember, it's not part of the selection. Undo. So now I would go ahead and choose the quick selection tool. Okay, make sure it's set to add to selection, the plus sign. And don't forget, if you can't see the circle, you can adjust the size of that circle with the square bracket key next to the letter P. And then it's going to press and hold and very carefully select the face of the clock again. Okay, now Control 0 again, Move Tool, V, and now I can go ahead. Notice, by the way, I've got the tip of the Move Tool against a solid color area and move that over to there. Okay, it does say that the clock needs to be resized. So I'll go ahead and click on Show Transform Controls and click on a corner here. And let's come up here, select the Maintain Aspect Ratio, and let's try 150. And we're going to go a little bit bigger, 200. 200. Okay, and we'll move that to right about there where it shows in the picture, and we're done. And Control D. Okay, so a couple of different ways of selecting the mantle clock so that you get all of it and don't wipe out the clock's face. These gray shadows here, those are actually shown in the book. We haven't shown you the tool for getting rid of those.